What's up, everyone? Welcome to Flight Deck, and in today's episode, Nathan will be presenting it to us.
So in this episode today, we're going to be discussing the recent bank runs that happened in China and the protests that ensued. So I've split this up into three sections: the build-up, the protests, and finally the solutions.
Nice. Let's get into it.
Ooh.
Wow.
China, a very controversial country in many eyes and a country with many secrets. Recently, China is fighting a war on multiple fronts against financial insecurity, from dubious online investment schemes to an ongoing property crisis. At the forefront of it all are hundreds of thousands of people losing their life savings overnight because their accounts have been frozen. As of April this year, multiple banks from the rural regions of China's Henan and Anhui provinces have ceased providing withdrawal or transaction services to their savings account depositors. Back in March, police announced the former vice president of Xuchang Rural Commercial Bank, which sponsors 5 of these rural subsidiary banks, were wanted for serious economic crimes. According to reports, tens of billions of yuan from about 400,000 depositors were affected. But why would depositors want to deposit in small banks instead of more reliable banks like the Bank of China? Simple. More money. The interest rates for big banks in China are about 3%, while the rural banks offered interest rates up to 4.5%. It's just simple math. If someone can earn more money by just putting their money in a bank, I would too. People have been putting their money into these rural banks for years now, so people naturally thought it was secure. Panic ensues, as one would do if someone lost all their money overnight, and the depositors quickly organized a struggle against the banks. These unprecedented developments garnered widespread attention across China, as many workers and youth fear for their future amidst the lockdowns and real estate crisis that threaten to spill into other sectors of the economy. Alright, so imagine losing your money overnight. How would you feel?
Yeah, terrible, bro. Because, like their entire life savings are gone.
Yeah, it's not, it's frozen, so they can't access it, they can't do anything with it. So it's crazy. Imagine you have all of your money, you're trying to send your kids to college and then or try to pay medical bills.
Yeah.
That's devastating.
Yeah, and I guess the other problem is not just the money, but also the information on where their money is too, right?
Yeah, you're losing, the CCP would be losing so much trust from the people.
Yeah.
Just from not telling them where the money is. I mean, I bet they don't even know because the rural banks were run by this sketchy dude. So
yeah, that's terrible. And yeah, it's money, information, and
yeah,
COVID too, right?
Yeah, all the the most important stuff they don't have access to anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, I can't believe that.
Imagine that happening in America.
Yeah.
What would happen right now?
The protests.
Dude, the protests would go crazy.
Yeah. It'd be massive. Just everyone fighting. And America's really different about that. They take action, and they take action.
Well, do you agree on taking action like that? Or
no,
more?
Well, not exactly, because I feel looting and all that stuff, it just kind of negatively affects everyone. Because the cops are gonna take it the wrong way, and it's just affecting businesses too. I think peaceful protests, you can have a much more profound effect with peacefully protesting than breaking something, you know?
Do you think that would have worked for BLM though?
I'm not so sure. I don't know. I feel the problem was that it was during COVID, and everyone was antsy, everyone was angry, so.
But I feel for BLM, it kind of evolved from a peaceful protest to more aggressive, and why do you think that happened?
I think it's just time after time after time, no one's doing anything about it, and nothing's changing.
But still nothing. If we're talking realistically, nothing still has changed.
Yeah.
Stuff has happened obviously, but fundamentally, things are pretty much still the same.
Yeah.
People, I wouldn't want to say moved on, but people have moved on from this topic.
Yeah, I think it got to such a profound effect was because everyone was stuck at home. We couldn't do anything, and everyone was really this was a breaking point, I think. I don't know. I feel like to create change, it's not just over social media. There's like other ways to do it.
Yeah, but do you think? I mean, like in China, it's like harder to do to make that change. Do you think they should be like more aggressive?
I don't know. I don't think aggression will really work because, like, I don't think like violence leads to anything like good. If you think about it, like being like more aggressive, like oh they're like in China if they're to like break buildings and like run into shops and loot and stuff like.
Dude, the CCP would go ham on
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah, that'd
Like
be not good.
yeah, so there just has to like be like a more peaceful way of like coming to an understanding, something like that.
But I don't know if that like understanding is necessarily possible though.
Yeah.
In a situation like China with
Yeah.
with the CCP having such like a tight grip over basically everything. So
Yeah, I mean, there's like not much to do now, I guess. If you can't get a solution, don't push the boundaries further. Like don't break.
so like don't try to get a solution. But like
N-
if you
No, but like, if you know you can't get a solution, why would you go and break
but
down
like
shops?
here's I think I would agree to you with like a certain point, but like I think that like if you don't get a solution and you spend like all this effort.
Yeah, might
Like,
as well break some more stuff.
but like that's not what I mean. But like you want the solution, but you can't do anything about it. So like, what
Push
should
it.
you do then?
Yeah, that's true. Like either like it's you're kind of stuck in the like between two options. Like either do something or you just let it be.
Yeah, but if you do something, you might get beat up.
That's true.
So we'll talk about like the protests and what happened, like
Yeah.
the solutions that happened.
No, but
like, the
if
beating.
you don't do anything, they might also beat you up.
Oh shoot!
So it's like
They might beat you up because you have no money now.
yeah,
It's lose lose, bro.
lose lose. Either way, you can choose.
The protests at first were purely economic, asking the banks to give back their money. It made sense. Money talks. As time went on, however, the protests quickly evolved into something more political. Over 1,000 depositors carried banners with slogans like "No savings, no human rights," against the corruption and violence of the Henan government, against the abuse of power, against the beating of depositors by Henan government-aligned gangs. Others shouted the slogan "Li Keqiang, investigate Henan." The situation was getting out of hand fast, and the regime had to do something about it quick. So as we were like talking before in our previous segment,
Yeah.
like about the protests, now that you actually like get a little bit information that you know like it first was economic, just like protests about giving our money back. Now it's like more about like human rights, like no savings, no human rights, like
Yeah.
slogans like that. Like, do you think it's a good thing that it evolved from just like an economic protest to more political one?
I think it's not like a good thing, but it's more like natural. It's like a natural thing. Like this happened naturally. Like people are gonna go to the source of the problem. They're not just gonna stay. Like they're not just gonna go to the banks and be like, "Give me my money back." Like they're gonna keep pushing through. Like
You know what's funny though? Like all the slogans that they're like putting out, I've read, like are like the propaganda of the CCP.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're putting their propaganda in their slogans. So it's just like it's like
Mix and match.
yeah,
Damn, that's interesting.
like they're just saying what the government is saying, like to them.
Back to the government.
Yeah. So that's pretty.
That's interesting. Is it like? Do you think it's like due to like brainwashing?
I wouldn't
Oh.
say that, but like it's just like, I guess, kind of
Like in a sense.
in a sense, maybe, but not exactly sure. Like brainwashing is the right term for
Yeah.
it. And
It's like more persuasion.
yeah,
Something
like
like that.
yeah, probably just like day after day of like seeing the same thing.
Yeah, encountering like the same. Yeah.
So right after these like protests started, with all these like slogans and stuff,
Yeah.
the CCP obviously has to do something, and so in the next segment you'll learn like what happened, and yeah. As I've said before, the government had to do something. So, to prevent protests, local government used an app to their advantage. In China, there's an app that updates you on your status for COVID. If you have a green or yellow, that means you're still free to travel. But if you have red, it means you cannot travel anywhere and are stuck where you are. The local government knew this and used it to change all the protesters' colors to red, making everyone stuck in their hotels, homes, not being able to go anywhere. One protester who was at the bank for 4 days finally tried to go rest at home, but his code turned red as he was heading home. The red code caused him to have to stay and sleep in a car with no money, no place to stay, and still no answers from the CCP. During the actual protests, the regime deployed large numbers of police around the protests and ordered it to disband, but obviously no one listened. So then a group of unidentified men wearing white shirts then plunged into the protests, dragging and beating them in order to disperse the crowd. At the same time, the police, who were often referred to as the protectors of the people in China, stood aside and watched the carnage unfold without intervening. It seems the protesters are not the people they exist to supposedly protect. Many of the protesters were severely injured by the thugs. Some were beaten until they bled from their eyes or mouth. One disabled protester was even battered unconscious. Despite the horrific actions that occurred, the CCP still has not resolved the problem. They only have provided individuals with deposits between 100,000 yuan and 150,000 yuan with their money. But people with life savings are still not getting their money back. So what should they do about it? So are you surprised by any of these things that happened during the protests?
Yeah, I guess I am. Like, it's pretty surprising that the police came, and then the police didn't prevent anyone from getting hurt.
What are your thoughts on the people in white?
Yeah, that was quite scary.
Who do you think they are?
Are they connected to the CCP?
They're just normal police. They're registered police.
In the white shirts?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They just didn't come in uniform.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they could blend in with the protesters?
Well, they didn't blend in on video. They just walked in with a bunch of white. No, with your fists.
They were just beating people up?
Yeah, with their fists and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. That's just police, dude.
In China?
Yes.
Wow.
The normal police were just standing on the side, just watching.
And the police are supposed to be the protector of the people, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's probably why they were not in uniform. To beat people up. Yeah.
So they couldn't identify as cops,
yeah.
Not in uniform, but.
And then there was a story about this pregnant woman also getting beat up.
Yeah. I heard women, children, and everyone was getting beat up.
Everyone was getting hands, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What about the social media part of the COVID app?
Yeah, I think that's pretty drastic,
Do you not think it's scary?
No, I think it is that the government can control things like that.
One tap, you get red and you can't go anywhere. Yeah.
They're preventing you from living the people from living their lives, Yeah.
It's just a way to control them now.
Yeah.
Before it was actually for maybe before it was actually for safety, but now it's just completely.
It's just a tool.
Yeah, it's just a tool now.
That's crazy. I can't believe that part. It's just.
It's what we had at school for freshman year. You weren't here, but we had this app called Clear 2,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to do it every day. We had to scan our temperature and stuff, and it gave you a check mark, and then you could go to class. An app like that. Imagine that in a more bigger influence.
Yeah, it's millions of people, right?
Yeah, billions.
Billions, yeah. That's nuts. 'Cause yeah, just one tap of a button and they're gone. I can't believe it.
That would never happen here though.
People would go out.
Yeah.
During COVID, everyone was out. I remember walking down Broad Street.
Didn't Coachella happen too?
Must have. I don't know, but I remember just walking down Broadway, in New York, and during the height of COVID in 2020 summer, and no one was wearing a mask, and everyone was just eating outside, eating inside, just chilling, doing their thing.
Do you think that's good or bad, compared to China?
I don't know. Like, China definitely, like, I think like most Asian countries were much like being like much stricter about COVID. Yeah, I guess like looking at these different countries, it shows like the different like values in a sense.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
I feel like no one really cared about like COVID here, especially in the United States. Like in like more liberal like parts of like the country, it was like all right. But if you were to go into like, I remember looking at videos in like the summer of 2020,
They
like
said
people,
masks are fake. The mask
yeah,
is a scam. Like,
and
I don't understand that.
like
Like,
people were just going to the beach.
we're not like fully liberal, but we're also not like, well, obviously not like far left or far right.
Yeah.
But like, still, it's just like kind of common sense.
Yeah, common sense that there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah, like,
and
it's just like, I think, like, it's just
like COVID was
agenda, like, for both sides. Like,
yeah, like COVID is kind of like used politically if you think about it. Like,
yeah,
in China's situation, like they're using it to literally stop people from like leaving their house and stuff.
yeah, for like the protests and stuff.
Yeah.
And here it's just like pushing the agenda of either the left or the right.
Yeah, just
And
creating like feuds between either side.
It's going
Downhill.
downhill.
Yeah.
But like, so going back to like the solutions, obviously like this was a big protest. People were getting beat up and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that this was similar to like Tiananmen Square or something like that?
To what?
Like the Tiananmen Square massacre.
I don't know what that is.
Really?
Yeah.
You know Tank Man?
Tank Man.
You've never seen Tank Man? The picture of like a guy holding a grocery bag facing a tank.
Oh yeah. I think I have. I definitely saw it somewhere online.
Yeah. Do you know the story?
No, I don't know.
It's like students were rioting against the Chinese government in like the 90s. I don't want to misspeak, but like it was in the 90s or 80s, something like along those lines. So basically, like the students, they gathered, they were protesting normally, like not violent or anything, and then like the CCP rolled out like tanks and like actual military, and they like shot the students and stuff.
Wow.
And it was crazy. Yeah.
That's nuts. Like any similarities to this meaning?
Yeah, I don't think there's obviously similarities, like the violence and the suppressing of the protests, but like I feel like this is like a completely different cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different cause, but like same like kind of outcome, like different like ways of violence. Like there's like a big difference between getting shot by a tank and like getting
The tanks didn't shoot, but like
it
was just like a show of force. I feel like.
Yeah. That's crazy. It just shows like the absolute power that the Chinese government has compared to like the people. Like it's kind of like a dictatorship if you think about it.
With, like, what's it called? Tank Man doesn't even, like, if you Google it in China's search engine, it doesn't even show up.
Really?
Yeah. What if I get like banned from China, bro?
You can't go back.
I go back to the airport and they arrest me.
Because of a small podcast you're doing with your friend.
Dude, that would suck.
You can gain so little from like not doing anything, and you can still gain so little from doing something.
That's kind of messed up.
Yeah, it's just like being stuck in a situation, and like such like a confined like space. Like you can't get out, like, and you can't get in.
Yeah, you're in too deep, bro. It's like us playing video games.
Yeah.
One more round.
And then we played a million more rounds.
Yeah, one more round and we might get that dub.
But we don't.
We don't get the dub. We get destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of similar, honestly.
Like, they're just like stuck. And can they leave China or no? Well, all of them have like the red COVID pass, so.
Yeah, you can't even leave.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even like it takes so much money to leave China, find a place to stay.
Yeah.
Too, like you need money for that. They don't have money.
Yeah, all of it's gone. But yeah.
All for that 4.5 interest, bro.
Yeah.
I would have done that.
Anyone would have done that.
Double my money, bro.
Yeah, higher interest rate. Yeah, This is horrific. Thank you for getting to the end of the video, and I know we made a few jokes throughout the video, but on a real note, this is a serious topic that's affecting millions of people in China.
Yeah, the whole point of Flight Deck is to bring the very current news to light, and hopefully you learned something throughout this video, and hopefully we can get better at editing, commenting, just narrating in general, and the only way from here is up.
Nice.